March 2019. The house is now completed and we moved in with all of our junk. When consulting with the builders, I ordered a 9-foot ceiling height for the basement. I envisioned the theater screen higher up for better viewing clearance from the second row. Plus, I didn't want the room to feel cramped. In this illustration, the screen wall is about 14 feet wide and 8 feet 6 inches high, with an open area to hide the speakers and subs behind the screen. The largest acoustically transparent screen that would fit on this wall is 158-inch diagonal from Silver Ticket. That gives me 9 inches of clearance on each side of the room to install the screen and fill the room with as much picture as possible. On paper, this all seems great. In the real world, there's a freaking furnace duct, plumbing drain, and cable chase in the way. Will this shatter my dreams? No, I just had to lower the screen a little, but I did find it to be incredibly annoying. It just means more time and more money building out that area. The relaxing and casual nature of drawing pictures of my dream theater is at an end, and I have to get to work building this theater. Excitement and dread sets in as I blindly order lumber from Home Depot. I order it in batches and store it in my garage as needed. However, I'm not fully confident I have a handle on all this yet, so I go back through my original CAD designs from last year and start tinkering again. To help reduce the noise and heat a projector would create, I wanted to place it inside its own room. I know I'm getting a projector with lens shift, so it should be no problem sticking that behind the theater. Regarding the doors, 36-inch solid core door for the mechanical area and media room, 28-inch hollow core doors for the stairwell closet and projector room. This digital mock-up serves as a guide for where the walls will be placed. And from there, I just start getting the walls up. I've done as much as I can, but now I have to address this soffit. To begin, I have to be certain of all my measurements. Looking at the front wall, the screen can only go so high. I also noticed that the Klipsch towers have to be elevated to avoid the screen frame from blocking the speaker. A few layers of granite slabs will solve that. With the screen wall finalized, it's best to figure out a seating position that is not going to interfere with the projector. On the right side of the image, I estimated where the projector might end up inside the projector room and beamed out a path to the screen. I'm able to clear the image at about 11 feet from the screen. That allows a second row behind and also a path to walk behind there. Now, looking down on the theater room, I can take those measurements and determine where I can install the Atmos speakers. Building out the soffits beyond the HVAC and replicating it on the opposite side of the room actually works out better since it lowers the Atmos channels closer to the listener. Knowing that the seating position is around 11 feet, I can more accurately place the Atmos speakers, and also the side and back surround speakers. Giving my speaker locations priority on the layout lets me fill in the rest of the space with recessed lighting throughout the room. I'm sure there is a more efficient way of doing this, but I wanted more overkill and less corner cutting. The Atmos speaker boxes were thrown together with 1/2-inch plywood and sealed with construction glue. They are built specifically to fit in between 16-inch stud spacing. Inside the projector room is where all the connections are made. 11 channels of audio for the AV receiver, along with 2 subwoofer runs, a set of cables for LFE transducers in case I want to run wire to my theater seats, several sets of Ethernet cables, and a few other cable types that go into the media room. Also in this room will be multiple sets of dedicated 20 amp power lines, in case I need more power someday. My media server will be in here, as well as the power amp for the subs, the projector, the AV receiver, and several NAS drives. Altogether, there will be 4 dedicated 20 amp lines in addition to a dedicated 15 amp line. Here you see 2 4K optical HDMI cables that are running to the media room, plus more Ethernet. All the cables are run up and over to their destinations, using the second soffit as a large conduit. My logic at the time was to reduce as much outside noise to the theater room as possible. I was convinced that mineral wool insulation would help me with that quest, since I don't want to invest time in 2-layer drywall with green glue and sound isolation clips. What I could do was a single layer of dense 5/8 inch fire rated drywall and sound isolating mineral wool between all of the studs and gaps. A quick note about this opening. During this entire process, I was making changes to the design as I progressed. I should have planned for this projector opening during the framing process to better center it, but because of lens shift, it still works fine. For whatever reason, during the early stages of framing, I assumed the projector would be ceiling mounted, and there would be a cable channel up and over into the projector room to connect the gear. For this exterior window, I packed 2 layers of mineral wool and will cover it up with drywall like it never existed. I'm not taking any chances with resonating chambers inside the walls, so every possible place to insulate gets filler of some kind. Before I change gears and start putting up the drywall, I mount a 2x6 plank on the ceiling in the back of the room, just in case I have to buy a projector someday that has less than forgiving installation. Check my channel for part 3 when I get the drywall up, paint, go over the components, and finally complete this home theater.